Welcome to Upin Stock Analysis channel. So in this video, I'll tell the relatively cheap stocks that have a very high potential to have a rebound in the near future. So stay tuned and also subscribe this YouTube channel to show your support. So let's first go to USAR. So USAR last month it increased a lot from almost like $17 to about $43, and then continuously dropped down, and then this month it still opened around this price and then started to drop. So based on this is the USAR monthly chart, and this is the prediction model. And I talked to you this model in my previous uh, videos a lot. And this is the Blash model. And this Blash model, I used it many months ago. And this model has been optimized, and it also was improved very well. This is the Blash model, and this model is also very good to predict the high and the low for the current time frame. For example, this is a monthly chart. Then this is a trend line. The tips of this trend lines represent the potential high and low for the current month. So you can see for this splash model, all these months, each month it reaches to this bottom yellow trend line, and this blue support trend line each month touches this blue support trend line. So this Flash model will show a kind of a very good big range of fluctuation range for the current time frame. So for this USAR, and you see for this Flash model, it dropped down to this bottom the bottom blue trend line. So typically this is shows a good price, low price that will have a very high potential to make more money, and then it started to increase. Right now the stock price was closed at $17 last Friday. So today is November 8th. So next week will be the second week of this month. And you can see this from this prediction model. This monthly chart is also dropped down to this major support green trend line. So this is a major support. So if it's still above this, so it still means it has a potential to increase. So this opening price of this month is around $19. So it should first tries to reach this one. If it can break out of this $19, and then it will still have a potential to increase to this yellow trend line around $23 for this month. So this price is also close to this one, is around $23, is around this blue trend line. So right now is at the top of this current price. So it will first try to reach this $23 at least this month. So if we change it to weekly chart, you see it still dropped, have a still tendency to drop. So next week, if it opened above this $16, and then if it can be supported, and then it will have a potential to reach this $18. But the weekly fluctuation range is between this $18 and this trend line, tips of this trend line, $14.8. And the next for this one is basically, this is just the only predicted for the current time frame. So the next day, if we open the daily chart, this is a Upin daily chart, and the tips, as I mentioned before, the tips of these trend lines are the predicted potential high and low for the next time frame. That means early next week. So if we zoom it, and last week it opened a little bit below this bottom blue trend line and increased all the way up to the top yellow trend line. So that means it started to have a very good high increasing momentum. So next week is next week, it may open high, maybe around this yellow trend line, around $17.8. It may have a little bit of pullback, but if it when it pull back, even if it dropped down to this $16.86 or even to $16.27, that's a still good buy zone for this kind of a trend. So early next week, the fluctuation range is around this $17.8 and $16.3. So if it can break out of this dot, the resistance dot 18.1, if it can break it out and then get some kind of a confirmation, and then it will start to move up to the higher range. So this is the USAR, and let's go to mRNA. And let's first go to see the monthly chart of mRNA. And mRNA, you see mRNA dropped from about $167 a few months ago, maybe like around 1 year ago. And then it continues to drop, and then it still have it's a kind of a fluctuate in around this low price region, around this $24. So and also it break out of this top yellow trend line just a few months ago, and then after some kind of accumulation, it will have a potential to break out of this top yellow trend line around $30, and then it may start to take off. So this is the mRNA monthly chart for this bullish model. So as I mentioned before, so this model is only for to predict the potential high and low for the current time frame. So that means for the current month, if we zoom it, and then you see it opened and then started to drop a little bit, even when the whole stock market dropped a lot. So when it dropped down to this bottom blue support trend line, it started to bounce up a little bit, and then it up because it's already already dropped down to this kind of blue support trend line, low price region. So it will start to try to find the high price region, the yellow trend line. So you see each month it will touch the bottom yellow trend line for each month, except this month, but the next month is still moved up to this bottom yellow trend line. So this month, at least it will is expected to be able to increase to this bottom yellow trend line around $28. So there's a $4 of room to increase. And then if it break out of this $26, it may have some kind of a pullback. And then if it break out of this $26.7, and then it will move it up to this yellow trend line around $28.2. So when it moves to this high price region around the yellow trend line, so that type of greedy emotion will be strengthened. So it may have a more like increasing momentum. It may, if the increasing momentum is high, it will very likely to increase to this thick yellow trend line around $29.2. So depends. The top right now for this model is the top yellow trend line is around $30. So $30 is around this. If I zoom it, $30 the current month is around this yellow trend line, thick yellow trend line, $29.6, $30. So this is the mRNA, and then let's go to AI. AI, this is the AI monthly prediction channel, and this is the bullish bullish chart. And for AI, it opened around this green support trend line, and then it started to drop from this $17.3, dropped down to almost like $14.8 within about $3, and started to bounce up a little bit and dropped down to this $15.4. So even though there's a still gap, dropped down to this bottom blue trend line for the monthly chart, $12.8. So even though it may have a potential to drop it down to this one, but typically for monthly chart, it may not exactly touch the bottom blue trend line. And for previous 3 months, it's almost dropped down to this $14.4, and without breaking off this kind of a price. So it's very likely, so it will start to bounce up. So maybe even though there's some kind of a fluctuation, but generally for this month, AI is still potentially expected to be able to at least reach to its opening price around $17.13 and have a potential to reach this bottom yellow trend line around $18.3. So even though this kind of increasing range, a few dollars is not a lot, but it's relatively a good price increase compared to its actual relatively low price of its stock price. So the percentage increase is still good. So if you are interested in this kind of analysis, you are welcome to subscribe European Stock Trend Prediction channel or watch more video in YouTube.